Next week on Thursday, Chapter 25, The Bacon Story. On Friday morning, I put together a program of poetry and prose to read aloud the following Thursday afternoon. I held in my hands books I hadn't handled in years, old friends, the pages tissue-thin and yellowing. Many bore the faded names of the original owners, long deceased, scrawled across the flyleaf in elegant copperplate fountain pen handwriting. I couldn't wait to share my bouquet of literary bounty. I found it hard to sleep that night. I tossed and turned, tormented by the awkward conversation with Kathy playing over and over again in my mind. Anna stuck her head in at the door. "Mr. Wiseman, Dr. Oakley on line 2. Shall I put him through?" Harold's face lit up. He reached for the phone. "James?" Yes, of course. Same time, same place. See you tomorrow." Rollerblading again? My eyebrows pet to my hairline. The crazy man. He rolled up his sleeves and trouser legs to show off the newest scars and chuckled. What better way to take risks than with a doctor friend at my side? He glowed with boyish satisfaction. Harold chose to embrace the rest of his life with feverish passion. His enthusiasm was infectious. The chestnut eyes sparkled with mischief. "Did I ever tell you about Grandma Susanna?" "Yes, once or twice." I smiled in spite of myself and leaned forward in anticipation of another wonderfully tall tale. The abrupt changes of topic added immense spice and variety to our conversations. I was a painfully skinny boy. His lips twitched in anticipation of my reaction. I was laughing already. The doctor advised my mother to fatten me up with bacon. My eyes grew wide. "Was your family kosher?" The imp darted into his eyes. "Yes, but Grandma was determined to follow instructions. She fried the bacon in the basement." "And you ate it?" I gurgled. "Of course, she was a force to be reckoned with." His eyes were soft. "She loved me." "And no one protested?" I lapped up every irreverent detail. "There wasn't much love lost between my father and Grandma. Dad was an immigrant from Poland, a tailor. He borrowed some money from her to buy a small apartment building." I grinned. "From his mother-in-law?" Big mistake. Like a prayer, every day for the next several years, Grandma asked Dad when he planned to return the money. She lived with us. There was nowhere to hide. Harold's shoulders shook as his laughter mingled with mine. He rued the day he got into her debt. "Don't you love the smell of spring?" My turn for a change of subject. I glanced through the wall-sized window at the budding skeletons of winter-weary trees. I can't wait to plunge my shovel into the ground. I love the smell of damp earth when the snow is gone. It intoxicates me. Harold remained silent for ages, it seemed. There was a faraway look on his face when he said, "You are so full of joie de vivre. You sparkle when you talk of things you're passionate about." My eyes smiled into his. I love my life. Every second of every day is to be savored to the maximum. Once it's gone, it's gone. It'll never come back. I daren't waste it. You know what I mean? A shadow crossed his face. I felt its chill. My voice grew gentle. "Could I pray for you?" Harold swallowed hard and nodded, a quizzical smile hovering on his lips. He reached for my hand. I held his in mine and closed my eyes. It was a tender moment. I became absorbed in what I was doing, committing my friend and his situation to God in my chatty, meandering way. I ceased to be aware of his presence. He was watching me all the while. I wrapped up with an amen and opened my eyes. Harold's features were crumpled with emotion. His eyes were wet. Moisture glistened on his lashes. He allowed the mist to remain. He wouldn't brush it away. "Anna's back, so's your voice. I can hear you. You're okay, thank God." I struggled to wade through the waves of consciousness rolling over me. Daylight broke into Saturday morning. I had been dreaming of days past, the early days following the diagnosis. I sat up heavy-eyed with a pounding head. David opened an eye and burrowed deeper into the covers. I recoiled at the memory of my last conversation with Kathy. The thought of stepping into that office one more time filled me with revulsion. I got out of bed and signed onto my email. My fingers sought the keyboard. I typed. I had another sleepless night. I spent a lot of time putting together a pile of my favorite plays, poems, and Bronte novels with the passages flagged and marked to bring to you. But I will not be coming in on Tuesday or on Thursday. My sense of fastidiousness is outraged that I have been constrained to get into discussion with one of your employees. Please try to understand and please, please forgive me. I'm so glad I kept my journal. It will keep me company on Thursday afternoons. I am thankful I was able to share my garden with you. I wish you could have accompanied me to my precious enchanted spots. You are the dearest friend I have ever had. You would never know how much our talks have meant to me. I think our time is done. I think I knew it when we said goodbye last week. Perhaps you did too. We will meet again. I will be there when Gloria and you really need me. Love always, Selena. It was a long weekend. Harold would not open his email until he got into the office on Tuesday. I stared at my screen. Tears blinded my eyes. I signed on late on Sunday evening, not expecting to hear from anyone in particular. My heart leapt when I saw Harold Wiseman in my inbox. He must have gone to the office today. I felt remote as I read, detached, as if some other woman were using my eyes. Harold wrote, "Whatever you decide, I accept your decision. Harold." I didn't reply. There was nothing to say. Another message on Tuesday morning. It simply said, "I will live with your decision and hope to see you anon. Love, Harold." I replied, "I wish there was some other way. I miss you. You are always in my thoughts." A dry response on Wednesday morning. "Likewise, Harold." I sent out an email before heading off to bed that night. "I will be thinking of you tomorrow afternoon. I'm having my grandmother-in-law over for the day. She hasn't been keeping too well. I intend to work on my journal during our time, and then we'll go to the hospital to see Joe's wife. Maybe we can work something out. Lots of love to you, my dear friend. Always, Selena." Though it felt like the right thing to do, I was unable to dislodge the knife in my heart, no matter how much I tried. The pain was unbearable. To be continued.